right? But the owner, let's say the animal did not escape. How much would the owner pay here? He would have only paid $10. So the owner is only benefiting $10. He's not benefiting the $20 because he wouldn't have paid the $20 on that day. He would have only paid $10. So since he's only benefiting $10, right, and it was not his fault, it was not anyone's fault. In the case of Anah, you have to remember that it's no one's fault. So it's neither the owner of the animal nor the owner of the field. So I know it might seem like it's unfair for the field owner, but no, it's not, because making the owner of the animal pay $20 is unfair for him because it wasn't his fault. It was nobody's fault. So the $10, right, is all the owner benefited. So he only has to pay $10. Now that's different. The halacha is different if the animal, if the owner was chayiv in hezek, right? Let's say the owner was negligent. So if the owner is negligent, he's poshea, right? Then it wouldn't only be, even though he's benefiting $10, but since it's your responsibility, right? He's chayiv for hezek. The hezek, right? What he damaged, the apples or whatever the animal ate, the actual thing he damaged was worth more, right? It doesn't matter if the owner is benefiting or not in this case, or what the owner is benefiting. It doesn't matter. What matters in this case is that your object or your property damaged something, so you have to pay for your damage. Now the owner, the animal broke $20. You can say broke in quotations, right? Like, yeah, obviously you don't break apples, but since he technically broke the other guy's property, right? Since he diminished the other guy's property, you have to pay for what you damaged. So he damaged $20 worth of food, so you pay $20. Or wherever the case may be. If the animal damaged something else, you have to pay for what he damaged. So that's hezek. And hana is the benefit. So there's a difference between hana and hezek. Right, now back to the case of the roeh, right? Nichnas roeh tachtov leis chayiv nezikin, to be chayiv for hezek, right? For damage, right? But if it was hana, then the owner would be chayiv, right? If it was a case where, right, like in the case of hana, right? That's the next case in the Mishna. I'll explain there. Right, I'll just go into the Mishna and explain. Right, this is a case where it's hana. If it fell into the garden, v'nenis, and he benefits, you pay what you benefit, right? So that's hana. So for hana, the owner is chayiv. So nenes is not the roeh. The roeh does not pay nenes. The owner does. So, but in the case of hezek, the shepherd does, because he has responsibility for nezikin, for hezek. So we just went over the nafla lagina. I'll read it one more time and then do the Rashi. Nafla lagina, if it fell into the garden, and it benefited, you pay what you benefited. So nafla lagina, right? This is a weird case. So if you hadn't already read Rashi, or if it was not already explained to you, you would think that this is weird. Nafla lagina. How could you fall into a garden? This doesn't make sense. So Rashi explains what nafla lagina means, or what cases it may be referring to. Be'ones, nafla lagina be'ones, right? It fell into the garden, be'ones, through an ones. So what's the case of an ones? Migag, from a roof, bala of the owner, has somech, which is next to liginas chaver, to his friend's a gina to his friend's garden or farm or whatever it may be. Or Shehayisa Rishus Harabim, that the animal Shayisa it was in Rishus Harabim in the public domain. Givoa never mind, not that the animal was Shehayisa Rishus Harabim, that the Rishus Harabim was. So it was the Rishus Harabim. The Rishus Harabim was Givoha, higher, meaning in altitude. Min hagina from the field, from the garden, from the other guy's farm. V'nafla, so the animal fell. Meaning the two cases are right here. Either it's this, that the sheep fell down and ate the fruit, or it was a straight land. There was no cliffs, but somehow the sheep got onto the roof. So the sheep got onto the roof. Right. The sheep got onto the roof and jumped down to the fruit that are over here. This is the friend's garden. This is not his garden anymore. There's a fence over here, right? So this is not. So here's the animal owner's field over here, and the sheep jumped onto the roof and into the guy's garden. So it's either this or this, which is the cliff, right? Or this is a Rishus Harabim. So let's take the house out. This is Rishus Harabim, and a sheep jumped down into the Rishus Yachid, into the farmer's land. Okay. So those are the two cases where it could be Nafla Lagina. Next case that Rashi says is Mashn Nenis, so we'll read into in the Mishna up until Mashn Nenis. So Nenis, Mashn Nenis. Well, we already read Mashn Nenis, right? Nafla Lagina v'Nenis, Mishlam is Mashn Nenis. So now he explains what Mashn Nenis is. So Mashn Nenis, lefi hanasa v'loy lefi hazika. So, like I said, like I explained before, lefi hana, according to, right, he benefited $10. According to the benefit and not the hana. And not the hezek. Only the benefit, hana, not the hezek. Okay. Shmi Beisa, but also Tzadeh. So we'll go into the Mishna up until that line. So now the Yarda Gedarka, if it went on its way, meaning Yarda, it went down on its way, meaning normally, and it was a straight path like we have over here. It was a straight path, right? So it was, and there was no fence, right? His field is right next to somebody else's, and it's a straight path. There's no fence, nothing. So it should be obvious to him that the animal may go there, so he should build a fence, but he did not. So Yarda Kedarka, if it went down on its way, v'yizika and it damaged, mishalemes mashi zika. You pay what you damaged, not what the hana is, but rather what the hezek is, because he's chayiv. I like to think of the halacha. I like to think of the halacha of nenis versus hazika, like pater versus chayiv. It doesn't explicitly say that, but it's pretty similar, right? In the case of nenis, right, it's more like the owner is pater but he still has to pay hana because we make him pay hana because he's benefiting from somebody's loss, right? But it's really pater versus chayiv, right? For hana, he's really pater. It's just we're making him pay because he's benefiting from somebody else's loss. But for Ezika, he's fully chayiv. He was negligent. He let it roam around, even though the land was straight, and he did not build a fence. So it was obvious that the animal could have went there, but he did not build a fence. So yard the gedarka v'zika and shemesh machi zika. You pay what it damaged. So Keita, or wait, is that? So Shemin by itself? No. Okay. Keita mishlemes machi zika. How do we evaluate what he damaged? Right? How do we evaluate what he damaged? Shemin Beisa. You evaluate Shemin. You evaluate Beisa. The Beisa. A Beisa is the right. Let's say this is a guy's field, right? And each thing produces a saw worth of food. A saw is a measurement. I think it's a volume. So it produces a saw worth of food. So one square, let's say it produces one saw, is a base saw. So shemim base saw, you evaluate the base saw, kama haisa yafa, kama hi yafa. So kama haisa yafa, how much it used to be worth, kama hi yafa, and how much it's worth now. So I explained what that means in the previous video. So you want to go back to that video, you can. I'm just going to go through the Rashi, which is exactly the same as the video. It's just I'm going to go inside with translation and then maybe explain a little bit, but not to a full extent. So if you want the full extent version, go to the other video. Shemim Beisa Be'osed Sadeh, you pay Beisa Be'osed Sadeh, the Beisa in that field. So Rashi, I'll first explain what Rashi does and then go inside. So first Rashi explains what we do not do. Then he brings a source for what we do, and then he explains what we do. So first he's going to explain what we do not do. Ein shamin es haruga, we do not shamin evaluate es haruga, the land levada by itself. Meaning the land in this case is the strip of land that he damaged. So just, let's say he damaged just one of these, then we do not evaluate just that, right? We do not evaluate just that. Rather, and he's going to explain why we do not do that. Because shemavsin mazik. Mazik is the damager, meaning the owner of the animal. Shemavsid, because it's a loss on the mazik, on the damager. Shishamin osa, that we evaluate it, the land, bechol shavia, with all its worth. So why do we not do that? Because it's too much of a loss on the mazik, on the damager. So since it's too much of a loss on the damager, we do not evaluate just the land that he damaged. Rather, we do something else. What do we do? First, he's going to bring a source, and then he's going to explain what we actually do. V'Rachmana Amar, and Rachmana says, meaning the Torah says, Uvar besadi acher. Uvar, he consumed bistei acher, in a different field, meaning not the field, not the strip of land by itself, but in a different field. V'darshina beGemara, and they darshaned in the Gemara, they taught out in the Gemara, Melamed, that we learn, Shishamin, that we evaluate also it, meaning the damage, we evaluate the damage al gav, on the basis of sadei acheres, a different field, not the field by itself, but a different field. What does that mean? Different field. Now he's going to explain. Ella, rather, now this doesn't really matter. And rather, it just means like, in this case, it's just like a way of saying, in other words, or specifically, shamim beisa, but also sadei, we evaluate the saw beisa in that field. How much it was worth before that he ate, that the animal ate mimena from it. Ha'aruga hazos, this strip of land, hazos, haruga, the land, v'kama hiyafa achshav, and how much it's worth right now. V'hashta, right? We evaluate how much it was before, the whole thing, how much it was before, and then the whole thing, how much it's worth right now. V'hashta, now lo mishalim kulu damei. He does not pay all the money. Demei because shelokeach beisa, because you take the base.